Hey, we got Laura Harvey to start with. I want to thank you for some of the with us, your role thoughts on the match today.
In the first half, Angel City were the better team. I think we needed to sort out just some of our defensive stuff. And then I thought in the second half, we dominated the majority of the game. And that tends to be sort of how we play. Like if we can get our defensive shape right and get our triggers right, then we can cause teams problems and we're okay with them having the ball in certain areas. Yeah, and I felt like we were pushing and pushing and pushing. I thought we lacked quality in the first half too, kicking the ball away when we went back, but we had a little bit more quality in the second half. And yeah, obviously goal really late. And yeah, just happy to get over that hump that you lot keep reminding me about.
So looking at the bracket, appears that regardless of any results, that this was the Reigns final game in Seattle for this year. Just wanted to see if you had like a message for the supporters, message for the team. Just your thoughts on the home performances this season.
Yeah, I think the atmosphere that Lumen's created has been amazing. And I said it after the last game for Pino. You know, we believe we've got a product here that people want to see. And I think you saw tonight, you know, quick turnaround. No one knew we were going to have this game. But still, we got a decent. I don't know what the crowd ended up being, but I still got a decent crowd, and just the atmosphere was electric, you know. And if we can get the crowd that we got at Pino's game closer to that for the majority of the games, just imagine what we can do. You know, I think you saw with the players how much of a lift it gives them. It keeps driving them on. So yeah, just thank you to the fans, and I think we always push for more. We always want more. But I think we've proven this year that we're a team that will dig in and will work hard for you. And it's nights like tonight that make it all worth.
12-152.
Oh, nice.
This season's schedule has been a grind, and you've talked a lot about the inability to have time for training.
Yeah.
Now, even with the national break, your players have potentially a couple of days off and the ability to train. How big is that going to be, knowing that you actually have a little bit of a stretch of time with some time to train before or with the full roster season later on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an international break, so that does impact us quite a lot. Obviously without Pino and Rose going away this time makes it a little bit different. But I think first and foremost, it has been a grind. So I think a bit of rest and recovery, and mix that in with a bit, you know, some training opportunities as a collective with the group that's left behind. And then, you know, we can turn our attention to sort of a full week leading into a game away down in San Diego. You know, being on the same time zone helps for that. And it being on Sunday, obviously, amazing. So yeah, I think that it will be good for us to train just a few details. I think will be important. Just a couple of things like throw-ins and just think little bits that we can really hone in on that we haven't been able to of late, just with the schedule that we've had. So I think we just got to balance it between rest and recovery whilst ticking over, and then when next week comes around, we can, you know, really turn our attention to Sunday.
Goals change games.
Yes, they do.
What are your thoughts on that for this particular game?
Yeah, I thought, you know, Phoebe's header off their corner was probably the moment that I felt was maybe their best chance in the first half. And then right across the post, you know, I felt that we were really pushing at that stage. And obviously, you know, Rose has been someone that we haven't been able to get on the field a lot. And we had a bit of momentum at that stage. So I was a bit hesitant about making the change too early. But I think once we got our legs back into us when Rose came on, we just started to win the ball in areas where we could cause them a problem. And we know that we're a threat of crosses. I don't know what the percentage is, Brian would know more than me, but I feel like we're a threat. And if we keep putting that ball in the box with quality, we cause teams problems. And honestly, I thought Angelina Anderson pulled off 2 unbelievable saves that I can remember tonight. So I think that, you know, you look in both goals, you've got young goalkeepers who I actually had both of them at the U20s, so I know that they're the caliber that they're at, that, you know, it takes a lot to beat them, and that's what it took tonight.
And both Megan and Veronica have mentioned your halftime adjustments, and whether you can give us a little more detail about what those were.
Just defensive stuff. I think that we'd come out with a game plan on how we wanted to defend against them, and it just wasn't working. And they were causing us a problem, so we were just trying to get Jess a little bit higher up in the defensive structure to help Jordan a little bit more, whereas Ronnie and Pino tend to normally be them, but just the way that Angel City play their fullbacks, we couldn't do that. So yeah, that was the tweak, and obviously Rose took that job on and
And then last one from you, just emotionally, how good does it feel to get this playoff win after the things I will remind you about?
Wasn't it for all? And yeah, amazing. I think that this team, since I've been back, however long that's been now, I think this has been the biggest struggle we've had probably as a team this season. But I really felt that when we played North Carolina, we were turning a corner. When we played Washington, we were turning a corner. And then last week, we turned the corner. And tonight was a bit more Washington, North Carolina, that we had to dig in a little bit, you know. But then later in the game, we showed our quality, and we're a team that we'll be in games no matter what happens, no matter how much possession the team has on us, no matter how many, you know, chances they get to get the ball in our final third. If we stay in games, we will get opportunities. And I think that tonight was a proof of that. So yeah, just really happy for the players. They've absolutely worked so hard this year for this.
Coach, throughout the season, I mean, I know we talked about Ronnie, but just.
I love how you call her Ronnie.
I mean, you know, actually after the last win against Angel City here, really praised her effort.
Yeah.
What can you say about what it means? And I know we asked about that here with them, but in your eyes, what it means for her to record that goal?
Yeah, I mean, Ronnie's renowned for being the workhorse, right? Like, and those players often don't get the reward and the credit, you know. It's often the Pinos of the world, and because she's Pinot, and she should get that. But I think when someone like Veronica does the work that she did, you know, I think Emma Bignol has been excellent this season and been a real threat. You saw that against Portland last week. And, you know, Veronica had a very specific job tonight to stop her. But then can she be a threat on the other side of the game? And I honestly, I can't remember the goal, I always black out. But I think that, you know, she's in the right place at the right time. And yeah, it seems like Angel City's a bit of a voodoo for her. She scored goals against them. So I have to remind myself of that.
And then I know it's early. Do you have anything on Jordan at all, or is it just too early to tell?
I think it's not as bad as first fears. Is probably the only thing I truly know, and we'll probably know more tomorrow. But yeah, I think that there was a few of them tonight. There were a few tackles that were a bit tasty, and you know, both benches were saying, you know, someone could get hurt here if it's not controlled, and unfortunately someone did. So.
Speaking of injuries, this is the first game in quite a while that you have played without anyone or with everyone available.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm wondering what it felt like to have your team, you know, be able to actually have like a full bench and be able to really forward your own.
Yeah, honestly, it's like a double-edged sword because it's amazing, but it's hard because we have a really deep roster. Like, so there's people not in the 20 that truly deserve to be there because they've worked so hard this season, and I think that. But you know, the flip side of that is you can see what depth we truly have, not just on the bench, but people who don't even make the 20. Like, we have a really deep roster, and I think that we've had to rely on those people a lot this year. But you know, getting Rose back out on the field, getting Sophia back, I think you just see a little bit of their quality, which is amazing. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. I think Rose was not really ready last week, and you know, obviously getting her out there tonight was important for us. I felt that she made a big difference.
So this game, after this game, you had 7 straight halves where you haven't given up a goal.
That's that.
And how, obviously a lot of this has to do with Claudia's been having an amazing stretch of games, Backline's been having an amazing stretch of games. How does that feel, going into the game against San Diego, but also just having that clicking and how it affects the team?
Yeah, I think we're a team that really prides ourselves on that, and we've had a few games this year where we've let goals in that we don't believe we should have done. Sloppy, I would say sloppy goals, and we've just tidied up on that recently. And I think that's a big key to that. I also think that Phoebe, Lou, Alana, Jay, Sam, like we have a deep amount of people who can play in those positions. And I think Claudia's stepped up. You know, I think that we made a big decision as a collective. Obviously, I have to take the credit or not credit for that, but I think you've seen her quality and her ability is starting to shine through with every game. So really proud of her for that. But it's always a collective effort. I think we always have that mindset that we score goals and we concede goals collectively. There's always a reason why they get where they get, you know, and I think that we collectively believe that if goals are conceded, it's a collective, not just a backline or goalkeeper issue. So I think we always try and take pride in that.
Last week, you know, and just score goals when the team needed them.
Mhm.
And then night and stoppage time, you makes a sliding tackle to basically disrupt would be run by Angel City. How does it feel to just know that your OGs can still dial it up when it's a big game moment?
Yeah, I mean, you know, obviously I've worked with these guys for a long time now. And I don't play them because I like them and think that they're OGs. Like I play them because I think that they're good. And I think that Lou's been consistently good, you know, and she's another one like Veronica where she doesn't get a lot of credit and plaudits because she of the position that she plays. And she's just very steady. She keeps the ball when we need it to be kept. She seeks out danger when she sees it. And she's, you know, a veteran head on that young back line. You know, I think obviously Sophia is now, 2.5 years into being a right back. Alana's 3 years into being a pro. Phoebe's 3 years into being a pro. Like, Lou is the veteran. So you see that and you see her leadership, which I think is massive. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, the moment the ball went wide and Lou chose to go out, I was like, oh, good. Because she very rarely makes mistakes. So.
Yeah, looking ahead, you all had like good luck against San Diego this season. I believe you're 4-0 including Challenge Cup. So, you know, is there anything in particular about the ring that you think has done well against San Diego this season? And do you expect that to be, you know, there on a week or Sunday or at the next game as well? Yeah, I mean, we haven't played them since before the World Cup, so I think both teams are in a little bit of a different place than we were then. They're always hard to play against. Sorry, they're also hard to play against. They're very, you know, well organised, well coached team, and obviously Shield winners. You know, the league doesn't lie. So I think that we know that we can match up with them, and I think they think the same about us. Like our games are pretty tight all the time. But yeah, I think, you know, they're going to be wanting to obviously win. They're at home and they're going to want to prove a point that they can beat us, because I think we're probably one of the only teams that they haven't beaten yet since their infancy. So I think that we've got to be prepared for that. And, you know, I think that we have to use this momentum a little bit to our advantage. And I love the fact that there's an international break. I've voiced my opinion on that many a time. But I think we just have to get our heads down, work hard, pin down all the details, hope that everyone comes back fit from international duty, and then get down there and put on a good performance.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Thanks.